All right, so the US Rap Podcast edition with your host, Mia Marshall, and interviewing Johnny Blaze is our first guest representing the US West Coast. Hi, everyone. Today, we are hanging out here with a very special guest, and he's on the other line.
So are you going to put it live on Instagram as well?
Yeah, I'm going to do that as well. I've been doing the promotions for the last week and a half. It's really going into, cause like a lot of artists, when I figure out that, like a lot of artists, they release like one song on Spotify and they blow up that song. But I have a catalyst to work, like generally work super hard to put out the best music every time. So like I want to be the norm as well. When I do my music, I want to release as many songs as I can, and let basically the listener decide on what's going to go on the album or not. Because I'm doing a surprise way of doing it. Because I'm going to put out a whole bunch of songs and people are going to like it and they're going to recognize who I am. And then when I drop the album, they're going to be like half of the songs that they heard that they actually super like. And then there's going to be lots of songs that they've never even heard before, and they're going to be like, "This is an amazing album. This is like the best way to like, No other artist does that,
Yeah, I've never heard of that actually.
Yeah, I try to do a different vibe,
Yeah, that's good. So you had them ready on the music streaming platforms?
Oh yeah, I got them on all major music platforms. It's here nationally, and it's also worldwide as well. I'm signed as a select artist with United Artists, and I just found it more benefiting. When I first released my top song, which is now grossing at 792,000 streams on Spotify, which is my top song, and it's really yeah, my flyaway song. And like when I did that, I was just a young artist, like wanting to get on platforms, so I went through an app called Reverb Nation. Reverb Nation is a decent app. It gives you an idea of what you can do. It also helps you out and gets you a web page and an EPK, which is an electronic press kit, where you can send it out to record labels to see if you can get signed. Well, I don't know. I didn't know anything about the business. I've been in the business a long time, but when I started, we were just getting out of doing hard copy CDs and then into yeah. So I've been in it for a minute. So learning the digital world, I just jumped into the first thing I could with Flyaway, and I went on to CD Baby, and CD Baby released a song for me. Now I would never have anything bad to say about CD Baby. It's just that like there's so many great platforms that you can get through now, and like so many apps that you can get through to get on those platforms that like it requires maybe looking into a little bit to see what's best going to fit an artist, instead of just jumping out the first one. I think I could honestly have gotten more streams on Flyaway on my success, because it hasn't even been a year yet, and it's almost a million streams by itself. But I think I could have had more streams as well if I would have went with maybe a different app or a different company. Like United Artists, they actually promote for you. They do things for you. So it's like, it makes your job easier when you have help. When you have no help,
definitely.
when you have no help, nobody cares. Like, you're just an artist.
Yeah, you also have like so much to do, and then you get overwhelmed and things doesn't. Yeah, I can imagine how stressful it might be.
I was actually a baseball coach for San Bernardino Valley College, and when COVID-19 hit, I was actually out of music for a little bit at that time because I was concentrating on being a father to my 10-year-old daughter, and I gave her a lot of time and effort, but music's always been in my blood, and We suffered loss in our family as well. Her mother had passed away. So with that being said, like I really did the 110% dad thing, and you know I love baseball. I've been in baseball all my life, and when COVID hit, it was almost like a blessing for me. And I know a lot of people are looking down on it, but it was a blessing. It's opened up a lot of my talents, a lot of my music avenues now, and it made me more focused on what I really want to do. I go to college 16 units. I'm almost done with my AA program for kinesiology. And, yeah, so I mean, I'm super busy and like, you know, going back and forth from California, and I just bought a house in Iowa. So it's like going back and forth, you know, I don't know where I even find the time, to be honest, but
yeah,
it's all, I literally don't have time to do anything. Maybe get 3 hours of sleep a day, you know, but it's all about sacrifice, you know. I have that intuition that's built in me that I watch a lot of like motivational videos that are online. I know it sounds corny, but you know, I think they help. You know, I watch a lot of like, like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He has motivational videos out there. I like listening to him. I respect the guy. I respect his hustle. And I think the biggest thing that I heard from him was, you know, if success don't sleep. Success has never slept its whole life. You know, to be successful, you gotta be up earlier than the next person. You know, a lot of artists, they get so comfortable, they're like, oh my God, I found this app, and they're gonna put me up on Spotify, and they're gonna put me up on, you know, Apple Music and all that. That's great. Where's your hustle at though? Like what's gonna make you to the next level? Just because you're on there, don't mean that you're getting streams, don't mean you're getting paid. You know, the music is so hard. Like you generally are looking at like just 1 million streams on one song, you're looking at about $3,000 in your pocket. That ain't really nothing. But the time and amount that you put out, you should be getting paid $30,000, you know? But you gotta go get it. And the only way you can do it is by sacrifice, you know? You know, I don't mind. You know?
Yeah, and I find that like when to get to that point, you still need a little bit of money to even get started. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So it is a bit of a challenge and you gotta sacrifice a few things in life. Yeah, I can see that. And I was talking to like other artists here from Canada. It's a little bit different how people respond to music here in Canada. I don't know why, but like they don't get as much exposure as you guys there in the US. People actually support the music and buy, download, and you know, get the merch and help out the artists. But here it's really difficult for them to even generate anything. Like unless you jump down to the US, and that's when you start growing to grow anyways. But yeah, I don't know. Something's got to change.
Well, do you know the artist Mad Child? He's in Mad Child. I did a show with him over at the Viper Room in Hollywood. That was on my last part of my tour that I did called the Cali Kush Tour. And I did a show with him. That was my finish. I did 50 Cent's birthday bash. This was in Miami live. And then I came back and I did the show at Viper. But I think really what captivates me, like Canada is a very lovely place. Like, I love going there. And I love the people. Like, you know, there's been a huge response for Johnny Blaze in Canada. It is amazing.
That's awesome.
You know, and so like, I get a lot of emails, I get a lot of DMs, I get a lot of people telling me how great my music is. And they're artists. You know, these are artists too. And they're asking questions. What I think is like important, you know, it's just my belief and my opinion. What is important for artists that are out of state, you know, because everybody knows the capital of music would be in the United States. You know, Japan's got a lot of K-pop going on where they're huge out there, but they made that music huge because that's such a big market for themselves, you know. But with Americanized music, like rap music, you know, it all stimulated from America, you know, as far as the hip hop culture. So if I'm a Canada artist, I'm going to jump to the United States anytime I can get a chance. And that doesn't necessarily mean get on a plane and do a show here. You know, there's a lot of avenues to do, especially with COVID, you know, shutting down everything. But what I do, and this is the great advantage about me too, because I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. You know, if you don't like me, don't like me. You know, but I'm actually a likable person. Even my daughter will tell you, but, but I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. So I'll get on the DM and I'll be like, hey, I like your music, bro. Or I'll be on Rap Fame and I'll hit somebody up. Like I have a couple friends that are Rap Fame. They're from Canada. And they're like, yo, your music's dope. And I'm like, hey, your music's dope. So, you know, you feel the vibe with more positive, you know, like outlooks than we do trying to be negative and go, well, I'm a big bad artist. I'm bigger than this person. If you treat everybody like the way you want to be treated, then you'll move so much faster in the music industry. And I learned that 100 times now. You know, if you're good to people, people will be good to you back. They'll watch your interviews that you do live on Instagram. They'll comment on your pictures. They'll comment on your music. You know, they'll go to your Spotify if you treat them like they want to be treated, you know?
Yeah.
I never think I'm bigger than anybody. I'm just a kid that came from Santiago, California, and I'm originally from San Diego, the armpit of San Diego. You know, I never had anything in life. I was a broke kid and, you know, but I have ambitions to be great. You know, I don't want to be good. I want to be great. You know, I want to skip the good.
Yeah.
You know, and this is why I do what I do. And a lot of people ask me too, they're like, well, you're like, you know, you're trying to make money and all that stuff. Like, why are you on Rap Fame? Why are you on these apps? You know, these are like upcoming artists. I'm like, because I want to give back. I want to put them in the right direction, you know?
What is the crew that you are part of on Rap Fame?
I'm with the number one crew, Paradox Records Underground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're always full roster. We got like a family culture. All the artists that are on there, we've actually developed something that Rap Fame really doesn't try, or a lot of artists don't try. Within our crew, I've actually set up Zoom meetings on Saturday nights just with our crew. And it's, you know, 20 people in this room, and we talk about all the issues of the day. You know, some of us are in the music business that are just getting started, and there's guys like me that have been on there, and I can answer a lot of questions and help them, point them in the right direction. And it's worked wonders. I mean, these guys' music, they started out as just rap artists. They're just throwing some lyrics onto a beat. Now they're on Spotify. They're on these streaming websites because I gave them a little bit of inspiration to say, hey, you can do this. And anybody that wants to try or has a dream to do music, or a baseball player or football player, go for it. Make it your destiny, make it your ultimate goal, because nothing in life is unattainable. That's why we're human. Anything, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You gotta believe and go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that attitude. So what was the trigger point that made you decide to get into music?
Well, I have a funny story. So I'm 12 years old, and well, maybe 12, 13. And I like this girl named Jennifer Coe, and she was in my my drama class. It was like a acting class or whatever, right? And I loved her a lot. And we had to make a project to do in front of the class. Well, I ended up singing a song from Top Gun, and I basically lip synced it, but it was kind of pointing in her direction. And, it was the most embarrassing thing I probably did, but I after that, I was like trying to figure out ways I can start getting into music, you know, like, cause I really like singing and I really like the dramatization of it and being able to act out and have fun with it. So, I think my first ever tape, I had tape. Yeah, I'm pretty old. I had tape and it was at a record store and it's called the NWA tape. And I'll never forget it because that's what changed my whole aspect in music itself. And then, it's just so ironic that I got NWA and I started like really trying. I wasn't dressing like Eazy-E or nothing like that, but I was rapping to my dad and my dad's like, are you using cuss words? And I'm like, oh dude, I'm sorry. It's part of the music, you know, like this is what I want to be like, you know? And then many years later, I was working for Airborne Express, which is now DHL, international, like company. And I said, you know, I don't want to drive anymore. I'm tired of route driving. I'm going to get another job, you know, because I was young. And I ended up getting a job at a rim company called SAF Forged Wheels. And it's a high-end rim company that puts rims on celebrity-type cars. And they're really expensive rims. I'm not kidding you. Like, I've seen rims go out of that shop for 20 grand with diamonds on them and everything else. Yeah. So they're a big custom shop. Man, when I got there, they were basically in like a 8,600 square foot warehouse, very small, have these lathe and CNC machines. Well, we started doing really good because I came up with the idea to start contacting all these managers for all these sports athletes and rap artists and, you know, get them kind of looking at us. Well, when I did that, amazing thing happened. I contacted a management company and Suge Knight showed up into our warehouse. And Suge Knight is a huge rap mogul, which was with Death Row Records. He basically put on the map Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, you know, Tupac, you know, all the guys that I looked up to. And this guy was standing in my office. And I'm like, holy crap, this is Suge Knight. Like, this is amazing, right? But I didn't get anything of it, and I'm not the type to be starstruck because, you know, I grew up with nothing, so, you know, you see somebody like that, you just have total respect because he was part of this genre that I had followed as a younger kid, you know? So I started, you know, being really nice to Suge, and every time he'd come in, he'd visit a lot more, and my buddy, Steve Diaz, which ended up being my first manager, he said, oh man, I know you write music, you know, sing something. He was trying to make fun of me basically. So I rapped it and I did it with the, you know, beat on and everything, but I did it live, like in our office, you know, with nobody around, just me and him. And he's like, holy crap, you're really good, dude. Like, let's, head to the studio or something. And I'm like, nah, I'm no good, you know. I'm terrible, you know, I just do this for fun, dude. So Friday comes and he's like, hey bro, let's go grab a beer. I'm like, alright. So I'm driving and he pulls into the studio and I'm like, this ain't a place to drink beer. And he's like, no dude, I want to go in there and check it out. So I go and check it out and I'm not kidding you. That was the only time I felt like stars in my eyes at this moment because I just started seeing a real studio. I saw mixing boards. I met the producer that was at SOJ Studio. And I'm like, dude, this is dope. How much is it like for an hour? And they're like, it's already paid for. You just gotta jump in the booth and try it out. So I'm like, alright, cool. You know, I got my backpack, you know, I'm a backpack writer or whatever. Jumped in the studio. Got the headphones on. It felt natural as could be. It felt like I'd been there for years. And I just get up on a song, and I did my first song, There's Only One.
Is that song your song that you wrote, or was there?
Yeah, it was actually my first song ever recording, my first song I really wrote. And it's called There's Only One. And it was a dope song at the time. Like in the 90s music, late 90s, this is the type of genre of music it was. So I did it. After I did it, I took the headphones off, came out into the real speakers, they call it. right in front of the mix board. And I heard the song and I'm like, oh my God, that's me? And they're like, and the producer turned around, he's like, yeah, man, like, I just mixed it down for you right now. And I'm like, damn, he did that fast. Like, that's really me though? You didn't do nothing? And he's like, no, that's your song, dog. Like, that's you. So I was surprised. And I'm not kidding you. I played it probably 40 times in my car. I wouldn't leave my car. And I was so excited. I'm like, can I come back next week? And then he's like, yeah. So I had a few songs recorded. Suge comes in, and he's got P.D. Pablo. You probably heard of P.D. Pablo with a couple of his songs from North Carolina. So he's signing P.D. Pablo to his brand new record label called Blackball Records. And P.D. drives in a Z04 Corvette. Suge's got a brand new Range Rover, and they're putting rims on both cars. So I'm like, they're going to be here a while because that's two cars. Would you guys want to hear my song that I've been doing in my studio? Like, just give me an idea of if I'm good or not. Suge's like, I'm thinking he's going to say, no, I ain't got time. This dude was like, yeah, let's go. Got a big ass cigar in his mouth, everything. Sits down on the couch. I'm sweating so bad and the air conditioning's on. I was stressed. Petey comes in from his car. He sits down next to Suge. I put on, There's Only One. I put on a couple other ones, and I put on a song called Bring the West Back. And that was like the song that I had written I felt like it had meaning to it, and it was like West Coast music, let's bring it back, because Tupac had passed already and all that. Suge and Petey both got wide-eyed, and they couldn't believe it. They were like, yo, that's you? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. Isn't it amazing? I said the same thing. And then they started laughing. And they're like, hey, we want you to come down to Studio B in Hollywood. I said, you guys got the address? I'll go down there. And they were like, yeah, where all the famous people, they record there. And I want you to meet my producer. I'm like, cool. So, Friday comes. I'm down there. I'm the first one there. I'm at 9:30. I'm attentive in my car. I'm like, okay, show up early. Yeah, they didn't show up until like 12 midnight. 12 midnight they didn't show up. I was in there for hours in my car. So I finally go in. I didn't really care. Like, I was just happy to be around first. And Jazz and Corrupt were in the studio, and they were doing the Dog Pound, a couple of their songs for Dog Pound and all that. And I was like, oh my God, I'm meeting all these stars. It's happening so fast. Like, they're asking me my name, and I'm like, hey, I'm Johnny Blaze, I had no style whatsoever. I was just like, I couldn't believe what was happening. I was around all these people, So I go to the producer, and his name is Johnny J. And Johnny J was famous for producing Tupac's All Eyes on Me, his double CD. So I was like, no, this is amazing. I know who this guy is. And he's like, hey man, Suge said you got some talent. Why don't you jump in the booth and freestyle on a couple of these beats I got? I'm like, yep. And I ran into the studio and I put the headphones on and I started freestyling. And everybody, they're partying and smoking blunts and drinking and stuff. Everybody came out of the VIP room and they were all lined up where the circuit boards are and all that. And they were all watching me. And I was like,
oh my God.
You can just tell my nerves were shot at that point, but I'm like, I can't fuck up now. There's an audience. And these are like,
this is your chance.
So after that experience of being like put in the hot seat, Suge took a liking to me. Suge was inviting me everywhere. Vegas, stay at go to the Ghost Bar VIP, meeting guys like Exhibit and Alex Rodriguez, and my life was just like going so fast, and I couldn't believe the amount of things that were happening that were so great. So I text Johnny J, the producer, and I'm like, hey man, like, can you maybe do like production for one of my songs? And I want to break out into mainstream. Like, I don't want to be an underground artist forever, I want to start making money to take care of, my life, And Johnny J goes, all right, when's your next show? And I'm like, all right, I have a show at House of Blues in Anaheim. It's a huge place. It's by Disneyland. And I have a show with Digital Underground, Joe Cooley, and Rodney O. The show gets sold out. Sold out. There's people top deck, bottom deck, can't find a place on the floor. And Johnny J texts me and he goes, hey, I'm here and I brought some people. I want you to meet them. I'm like, all right. So I come out of VIP and I walk out there and, you know, a couple people are coming up to me, buying me drinks, and I'm looking for Johnny J, and you can't miss him because he's super tall. Johnny J was around 6'5". So he has another rap mogul that I really looked up to, which was Jerry Heller and his wife Gail. And they were my special invite for this show. And I'm like, yeah, so I'm like, oh my God, now I have to perform good. You know, I'm opening up for digital. That was pretty stressful. But now I got this. Became with Jerry Heller and his wife before they, you know, God rest his soul, he passed. But he had a beautiful book, the Ruthless Memoirs book that came out. And he was inviting me to all the book signings. He was paying for my hotels. He was paying for my dinners. You know, anything that I wanted, he was getting it for me, and I wasn't asking for anything. But if I asked him for anything, he would have gave it to me. Generally a nice guy. You know, a lot of people think and perceive that these rap moguls are jerks and all this stuff. Suge Knight was the nicest guy. He's just like a regular man. If somebody came and stepped on your shoes, or if somebody pushed you down on the ground, you're gonna fight back.
Yeah.
It's just a different approach. You don't let it happen. So he keeps his guard up all time, so he seems like a jerk. Same with Jerry Heller.
Yeah, sure.
You know? So I think what really got me into the music was like, I felt the passion that day in the studio. Everything is like a coincidence, but it all happens for a reason. Me running all these rap moguls that I looked up to when I was a kid, buying these tapes. That was generally like the straw that broke the camel's back. I knew that I needed to be in music. I knew I would belong here from just having those experiences.
Did you have anyone in your family that was in the industry, or you were the first?
No, I'm the first. I'm the first. My dad, he was a bowling alley mechanic for many years with Brunswick. My mom, she worked in the dental field. My sister and me, we all did a lot of sports and things like that. But, you know, music is a gift. You know, if you got the gift, you could build the gift and make it so strong that you become an artist. You become a million stream artist. You can do whatever you want in music, but you gotta work super hard. If you don't, you get behind so fast, you know?
Yeah, that's what everyone says that I spoke to about, like how to maintain, because, you know, you can like blow up and then everybody can forget about you in the next 3 months. You know what I mean? It's hard to keep up with it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, I even hate to bring it up, but if you look at a guy like 6ix9ine, right? Tekashi 6ix9ine, absolutely is brilliant. His team's brilliant as far as marketing, as far as getting his music out there. But there's a lot of avenues you could take for music campaigns to make it look like you're super successful. That's how this industry is. You have to look super successful to become successful. In the 90s and 2000 era, you had to look successful, you had to be successful, and you had to work for it. Now you can just jump on the internet and have a beef with somebody and get notoriety from that. You know, it's called clout.
Yeah.
You know, I don't do any of that. I don't clout chase. You know, Tekashi 6ix9ine, like I said, I have a lot of respect for him because that's what he does to brand his music. But when it came time to drop his album didn't do the projections that they thought it was going to. You know, because really, album sales are about real. If you're a real person, then people are going to like you because you're being real to them.
Yeah.
You know, all the jewelry, all that stuff. That's all great and dandy. You know, you can spend money like that all you want. I mean, your prerogative in life. But if you're not a real person, people see right through that, and they're just going to forget about you. 15 minutes down the road after your finish done, 15 minutes, you're done. That's why there's so many one-hit now. You know?
Yeah, that's
playing it for a long time, so.
Yeah. What were the artists that inspired you to become involved with hip hop or rap, and what is your favorite album of them, of all the time, I guess?
Well, you know, it's crazy. Like, I loved NWA coming into the music, into hip hop culture. I loved NWA because they just pushed the door open. They didn't care, you know, and I thought that was inspiring to me, but I think really what started like transitioning, you know, my mind to want to do this was Nas, Illmatic. Nas is a hell of a lyricist. That dude has got so much wordplay, and his transitions are crazy. And in the time he was blowing up with Illmatic, you know, and then guys like Tupac, obviously, I can't. There's not a day that goes by I don't listen to a Tupac song, and he's been gone off of this earth for a long time now. You know, so these gentlemen, they really inspire me, and like I think it was Tupac's All Eyes on Me that really had me thinking this was his top album of all time. Like all the albums he put out, All Eyes on Me was just the holy grail of his work. And if you listen to it, those songs are still played today. Like you can hear it on a radio station. It might be an oldie radio station. It might be a throwback Thursday or whatever it is. But once you hear it, you're automatically inspired. You're just like, I know this song, California Love, and I'm like, oh, this is dope. You get that feeling in music, man. Like, I don't know, it really does inspire you, and those are the artists that I really like. You know, there's so many that I grew up with that I thought that, you know, kind of got the grasp of it all. But those two artists, they're inseparable when it comes to my heart, you know.
Yeah. What would it be your dream collaboration?
Well, I got almost a collaboration with Eminem. I had a DJ, and he.
You sound like him a little bit. I think my opinion.
Yeah,
like your voice is.
Yeah, that would be one of my dream collaborations. I did this song. It's a mixtape song that I did with a different producer, and he gave me the beat, and I had a couple of lyrics on there from Dr. Dre and Eminem, and it was supposed to be on Dr. Dre's Detox album, and the song's called Die Hard. So I was like, oh, this is dope. Like, I really wanted to try to get a song with them, so I tried for years. But, you know, when you don't have a big budget, you're not getting big budget, you know, collaboration.
Yeah.
You know, but my dream would definitely probably be Eminem, and I do like the new style. If I had to pick a new style, I would like the Baby to be on a song of mine, because I think Baby's found it too. He's got that grasp on the industry right now. Anything he puts out, people like it. It don't matter what kind of song it is. It could be about a babysitter. It could be about a cat that he has. You know,
there's some people are like that.
Yeah.
Some people have that vibe.
Yeah, he caught it. He caught fire.
How long does it usually take for you to write a song? Like,
well, I'm kind of perfectionist, like when it comes to my music. So like, it takes me a little bit longer than the average bear, I think. But I mean, it's not months out at end. I try to put out a brand new song every week. You know, that's my goal. Every week I put out a brand new song, but I'm a perfectionist. So when I write it, I keep writing it over and over again. I make it so clear to where I find it, you know, the best I can get it. And then I hit the studio, and then I'll sit in there for hours in the studio. Like, I have a little girl, and I'm a caretaker for my mother. And, you know, there's times that I sleep in my studio. I'll just sleep at the studio and get up and record. It's just like when you're so focused on something and you want it to happen, like I won't leave the room. I give it my 100% effort, and when it comes out great, I'm appreciative. Like I'm on rap. You've probably seen my rap fame, but on the app, I have 28 featured tracks, and out of the 28, the last 5 weeks that I've had music on there, they've been featured in a row. So I have 5 in a row on Rap Fame. And these songs, they're special to me though. Like every song I'm putting out now is just more special because I have a message to it. I have an inspirational story to it, and people can relate to it. And I'm finding the grasp on the music industry that I really wanted to do in the first place. I don't want to put out dumb music. I don't want to talk about broccoli. I don't want to talk about money and fame all the time. None of that stuff.
Yeah, real life stories that people can relate to.
Yeah, because I'm just a normal guy. I might have money, hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank, but it never's going to change me. I might drive a Mirage. I'm still never going to change. I'm still going to be Johnny Blaze. I'm still going to be about the people. I love interacting with everybody. I love going on radio shows and meeting new personalities. I love going out in the public, from California to Iowa to New York to Boston. And Boston people are hard to get along with, but I get along with everybody that I meet there.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, all of your songs about like the real feelings and actual things that happen to you in your life, or some of them are just made up, kind of like, and if it is, what would give you the inspiration to write those songs?
Well, like I said, I'm always the realist when it comes to anything that I do. I can't fake the funk. I can't even lie to anybody. I'm a terrible liar,
Yeah.
I'm terrible at it. So when I got into music, that's what I wanted to do. Because I have a story. The stories with Suge Knight and Jerry Heller and some of those stories. All those are real. They're not fabricated. So my life, I did grow up hard. I had a brother that was a drug dealer. He went to jail all the time. We had people breaking into our house, threatening our life. My parents both worked. My dad was a bowling alley mechanic. They don't make that much money. My mom worked at a warehouse with dentures or whatever. She didn't make that much money. They always worked. The only thing that we got to do in the street was play football, tackle football in the street, play baseball. We
used no cell phones back then, eh?
No cell phones, no nothing. Just us playing. So everything that I say is true in my songs. I did go through drug addiction issues when I was a young man. I got into the industry a little too hard. And, I worked myself out of it, because I'm a fighter. I was inspired and I want to inspire.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's hard for people. I know addiction's hard because I've been through it. I know alcoholism is hard. I'm a caretaker for my mother. She was alcoholic for many years. After my dad passed away, it went really downhill for her. But I've gotten her so far back up because I've inspired her. And she inspires me by living and having these stories with my daughter. So I don't think anybody should make up music. I think everybody should be heartfelt when they write their music. Because, if you have that type of music, you will touch and inspire somebody and they will relate to you and you'll feel good about it. Maybe you help them out of depression. Maybe you help them stop drinking all the time. Maybe they'll get inspired and they'll grab a dream once, I don't want anybody to walk away from a dream. I want you to go get it. Go get the dream. Everything's obtainable. I promise you that.
Yeah, that's true. Um, can you remember like the first song that you wrote and who did you sing it to? You can describe to me.
The first song I ever wrote was I got a beat from the record store, and it's gonna be funny again. It was an Usher song. Alright, you know that song? It's 7 o'clock on the dot, I'm in my drop top, cruising the street, right? So I wrote, because I was really into love and poetry when I was starting to write music. So I wrote a song to that, and it was for a girl. And of course she didn't like it, but it was a rap song version of Usher's song. And I remember it distinctly because of the heartbreak I got from it, obviously. Just but it was fun, and I knew I could write music, and this was my first real song that I concentrated 3 verses on, and I go, you know what? I'm gonna start doing this. This is really cool.
That's good. It's a good story. What gave you the support to keep writing, like in the beginning? Like when you, since your girlfriend isn't very supportive, or the girl that you liked or whatever, and who's that person that like kept you motivated?
You know, I don't think it was a specific person. I think that my trait of me growing up and always being doubted. You know, I was bullied when I was younger. I was bullied right out of school. You know, I was on the football team as a freshman, and seniors would beat me up and throw me into lockers and things like that. So I built up this tough skin. And I think what keeps me motivated the most in music is definitely people who doubt me. You really shouldn't, because I'm going to go after it so much harder because of your hate.
Yeah.
You know, I can't stand haters. I can't stand them. I hate people that put other people down. You know, like I've been saying the whole interview, I want you to go out and grab a dream. Please, go and do it. I'm doing it. I'm grabbing all my dreams. I'm grabbing whatever dream I can fucking find. I want this. This is my music business. I want to be part of the culture. Whether you treat me like a tourist because of it, because I'm a white rapper or not, I'm here to stay. I'm going to make as many, you know, I'm going to make 1,000 songs by the time I'm done and over with. I'm going to have 1,000 songs out there. People are going to maybe not treat me like the greatest of all time, which I don't want to be, because to be a king, you always got a target on your back. But I want to be one of those guys that people go, he's a legend. That dude,
yeah.
You know, I want people like that. I want people to tell stories about me. Maybe not, oh, he's the best artist. No, he inspired me. His songs inspired me. You know, that dude,
that's good.
Showed me how self-motivation was the biggest key to my life. You know, I wrote songs for my daughter where I feel like she's falling off, and I give her inspiration in those songs. And she comes out and she tries softball for the first time, and she kills it. She's hitting home runs and making diving plays, and she's a little girl. And I'm like, dude, this is awesome, you know? She's a great artist. My daughter's a huge artist. She already wants to go to a college for art. And she's 10 years old.
That's good. Yeah, you should.
You know? It's amazing to me. I'm like, dude, you know?
Let her start young, and then it will be natural to her when she gets older.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Let her get into dance too. Like it would help her a lot.
Oh yeah.
Like dance classes or even hip hop classes, she could be, or going on tours with you and dancing when she gets older.
Yeah, she's tall too. She's 4'9" or 10. I mean, she's a tall girl. she just went to a physical, and the doctor said she's going to be around 5'7", 5'8". That's just a little under me. And I'm like, man, she's going to be a tall little girl.